Hello watch fans, it's Anders here on Watch On channel. Finally today I'm back with the full review of my new Longines watch. It comes in this beautiful wooden box. This is high quality. I'm very impressed by the overall packaging of this famous Swiss brand. So nothing to say about the packaging, absolutely amazing packaging. So you get the luxurious feeling when you actually unbox the watch. And inside we of course find the watch, and this is of course the Longines Spirit. This is the 40mm in the blue sunburst dial version. You can also find this watch in a white silver dial and in a black version in 40mm. All the 40mm versions also comes on leather straps, or you can of course buy it on the bracelet like I did, and you can also find all the same versions in 42mm, both on bracelet and leather strap. And then we actually also got a chronograph version, so kind of a big lineup from Longines. These watches, they retail at $2,150, but you should never pay the full retail price. You can always negotiate, or you can find it on the gray market or a used example. My used example here cost me around $1,600, so it's quite interesting that you actually lose approximately 25% of the value of the watch if you want to sell it again. That's just a little information. So this is a pilot style watch. It is kind of a gathering of all the different design cues from the beautiful history of this legendary Swiss brand. And Longines, they did have a perfect history with aviation style watches. You can see here the recent issue of Watch Time magazine actually has a really nice article about how affiliated and how embedded into the whole aviation industry and the pioneers of flying and aviation machines Longines actually was and is. So this is kind of a modern style pilot's watch, as well as almost kind of a field style watch. We have of course a 40mm watch, as you can see here, a little bigger than 40mm, thickness of 12.3, a really annoying lug width of 21mm, which makes it a little more annoying to actually find new straps, and then just short of 50mm from lock tip to lock tip. And that's of course, and let's just talk about it right away, because of these long lugs. You can see Longines, they really love to make long lugs. This was actually something that was keeping me from buying this amazing automatic pilot style watch. But after wearing this watch for a few weeks, I don't actually think about the lugs in any way. This watch has so much quality. This is the true essence of entry-level luxury, and I think in many aspects this watch is moving towards Omega territory. It's not the same quality and luxury feeling and design and finish as an Omega watch, but it's getting damn close in my opinion. As you can see, it's an automatic watch. It is powered by an kind of in-house movement from Longines, because they actually power this watch with the L888.4, which is almost an in-house movement. Longines is owned by Swatch Group, which also own ETA, and ETA, they produce a proprietary movement for Longines for this watch and a lot of other watches. So you get some really nice upgrades with this movement for this Spirit, because they upgraded it from approximately 64 to 65 hours of power reserve to 72 hours of power reserve. They also added a silicone hairspring, which actually means that this watch is much more accurate. It doesn't need the same service intervals as usual movements, and it's also anti-magnetic to a higher degree than regular movements. And then, as you can see down here, with the chronometer and the stars, and you do actually get a certificate for the COSC certification of this watch when you buy it. It is a chronometer certified watch, and as you can see on your screen now, very accurate. It's definitely within the specifications of the COSC. It beats at 25,200 vibrations per hour. So within the COSC specification, it must not be more inaccurate than -4 to +6 seconds a day. We get the stars. A lot of people has been asking me about the stars in the comment section. And the stars is actually an old way of Longines, of this brand, to tell the end user, the owner, the buyer of watches, that if it has 5 stars, it is a very accurate watch. That's before the COSC specifications and before you wrote chronometer on the dial of the watches. Having a closer look at the dial, you can see we get a very aviation style layout because you get the numerals of 1 to 12. Then you get these sword style pointy hands and this big long pointy red tipped second hand. This watch is all about legibility and accuracy, and it is a very accurate watch as you saw before, and it's very legible. Just at a glance you can easily read the time, and that's because with this domed sapphire crystal you actually get several layers of AR coating on the underside of the crystal, which in different lighting situations, as you can see on your screen now, makes this watch very legible and readable. At 3 o'clock you get a date. I actually like this way of making the date because they made a white printing on a black background, so it kind of blends more into the dial. I know a lot of people, they would prefer maybe a blue background, but because this dial is kind of gradient, it's more light, more blue at the middle and becomes a little blacker on the outside because of how the light hits the crystal. I think it blends perfectly in. I have absolutely no problem, and of course it is a very useful complication, so I believe a lot of people would prefer to have the date. So you also, on the outer part of the dial, you can see you get a really nice dimension to the dial because the application of the hour markings indices here is absolutely amazing. It's high quality. These are filled with Lume. We'll see a Lume shot just in a few seconds. You can also sense that you can see that the Longines winged hourglass logo below 12 o'clock with Longines, the logo, and then automatic is also applied. And then if you look at the outer part, at the railroad track almost, at the outer part of the dial where you have 65, 10 and so on and so forth, you can read the seconds and the minutes, you actually get a recessed part with this kind of little triangle almost, which is actually recessed into the part on the outer part of the dial to make this kind of a three-dimensional look. The Lume is really great. This is of course Swiss Super Luminova, and as you can see, absolutely no complaints about this Lume. This is a very, very high quality and usable all-rounder because this watch is both a sports watch, an aviation watch, almost a field watch with 100 meters of war resistance. It's also a very tough and durable sports watch, and it is kind of a dress watch. The crown is unguarded. It's a big signed crown, as you can see, and it's a screw down crown to testament to the 100 meters of war resistance. And if you look at the second hand now, the red tip, you can see I can pull the crown all the way out and then it stops. It has hacking and manual winding, which of course is something that you expect. Looking at the case, a really, really high quality of brushing on the sides and on the top of the locks, and then you get a beautiful polishing on the chamfering here, and it is a smudge magnet, so I'm just wiping it off. Beautiful. Also with the bezel, you can see the angles and how the light reflects on the case. The bracelet is a high quality tapered bracelet from 21 to 16 millimeters at the butterfly clasp. I'm usually not a big fan of butterfly clasps, and you don't have any micro adjust, but you do get kind of 2/3 links. So this is a full link and then you get a 2/3 link. So you get several of those so you can easily fit it to your wrist size. The spring here is really high quality, and you can see the parts are high quality. And this is a very, very, very flexible strap. Just look at how I can actually make it flex in many ways. So it's extremely light and comfortable on the wrist. This is a top quality bracelet in my opinion. Only minus is that it's push pins and not screws, and you don't get any micro adjustments if you can't really adjust it with the 2/3 of a link. The case back is the typical, as you can see here, screwed in case back with screws, Longines and the wing hourglass here, and the globe to just make it a little more of a aviation and international travel watch. Solid end links, of course. On my 18 centimeter wrist circumference, you can see I can easily wear this watch, and in this angle you can see how it really shines and glows, and it looks absolutely amazing. It's extremely comfortable to wear this watch because of this very light and flexible tapered bracelet. I think this is definitely the best bracelet I have ever tried from Longines. They do know how to make beautiful sunburst effect dials, as you can see here on my HYDROCONQUEST. I did a full review of this one. Again, link in the description or up in the right hand corner. And the bracelet is definitely nice to wear, but the bracelet on this watch compared to the bracelet on this watch is a whole other lower level, because the bracelet on the Spirit is so much higher quality. So all in all, I'm very impressed with this watch. The accuracy, the lume, the attention to detail, all is quality. This is definitely one of the watches where I actually feel that it punches above its weight. It doesn't appear to be a luxury watch, but this is definitely a luxury watch. It does have its problems, of course. Definitely the lock width of 21 is really annoying, and the lock distance here of almost 50 millimeters and these long locks, as you can see here, it's definitely something that is going to pull some people away from this watch because it will be too big for their wrist. I can definitely recommend this watch if you're looking for an all-rounder watch, or if you want a more modern style, aviation style watch. Big pluses for this watch: just be aware of the locks. It wears bigger than it's 40 millimeters, so be aware of that. That's a bit of a letdown. Also be aware of if you're a person, that if you're a person who flips a lot of watches, you will lose 20 to 25% of the value of this watch if you buy it at retail. But overall, a high quality watch which I really enjoy and which is a perfect addition to most collections in my opinion. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I will see you very soon again. Thank you. Bye.